Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Rose, and on this channel, we talk about everything personal growth. From mindfulness to manifestation, psychology to spirituality, I bring it all together for you guys to help you raise your vibration and level up into the next version of your being. On today's video, we are going to be talking about why I took a 2-month cleanse from social media. I got off social media 2 months ago, and I really want to talk about what happened when I was off it, why I got off it, because I think it's something that a lot of people are dealing with, is like this anxiousness about social media and this like confusion, like, is social media good, is social media bad, like what's going to happen with social media. There's so much going around, and I really want to speak on it from a mindful, holistic perspective. I got off social media because I was feeling so stuck in my life. I was feeling like every time I went on social media, I got off it and I felt awful. Like, I felt so bad about myself. My body didn't feel good. Like, I could feel that my energy shifted in a negative way every single time I went on social media. But the thing is, I was like addicted to it. Like, I kept going back to it, which is like what people do when they're addicted to things, obviously, right? You know, you keep going back to it because you get like a little high out of it. You get a little validation from somebody, or you get a little sense of this good feeling, and then afterwards you feel so bad about yourself and you just feel really low. And that's what was happening to me. And so I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. And I was so conflicted because I share a lot of information on social media, and I talk a lot to a lot of people, and I help a lot of people, and I really like need social media for my business and for my life. And so I was really, really conflicted on, should I get off of it? Should I stay on it and try and work it out? And, I came to the conclusion that I just needed to kind of cut it out cold turkey for a little bit, because the approach of like staying on it and trying to work through it, it wasn't working for me. And I think it does work for some people, but I just needed like a clean break from it. Right before I was getting off social media, I really started to realize the why. And the why of life is so important. Why do we do what we do? I started to realize that I go on social media to avoid things. I go on social media to avoid my own pain. I go on social media to avoid my current situation, whatever is going on in front of me, whether it's someone I don't want to talk to, whether it's a stranger, whatever it is. Avoid, avoid, avoid. That kept coming up for me. And when I realized that, I was like, okay, like, I really need to take a break from social media. So I did. I didn't know how long it was going to be. I just said I was going to do it. And then when I was meant to get back on, like, I would get back on. I would know it was time. So, getting off social media is a really great thing, but it's more about what you do in that time, right? If you get off social media and then you distract yourself with something else, it's not going to help, right? Like, it's about why we do stuff. So I got off to work on the why. I got off social media because I needed to look at my own stuff. I needed to look at my own wounds in order to progress forward and really begin to carry the vibration that I wanted to carry, to manifest the things and experiences and help the people that I want to help in this life. So I started to do a really deep dive into my childhood, into things that I've been avoiding looking at, into like anything and everything that was coming up. And a lot of stuff started to come up because I was willing to do the work and it was time for me. And that's what happens when we stop avoiding, right? When we stop avoiding, we give ourselves permission to it's like we give ourselves permission to take the Band-Aid off and like actually look at the wound and actually heal the wound, rather than going on social media and covering the wound constantly. Now, I just want to get it really clear. I don't hate social media. It's nothing like that. I think social media has its benefits, pros and cons, and it's way more about how you use it than social media itself. Like, it's the people behind it using it. And so for me, the way I was using social media was not working for me. I needed to approach how I use it differently. And now that I've been through this, I approach the way that I use social media differently. And so the outcome that I get is extremely different, and it actually aids me and helps my momentum gain instead of depleting me and tiring me out. And, vibrationally, I'm going down and down and down this spiral. So I want to talk about what I did when I got off social media. Like I said, it's, you have to get off it, and then you have to like make a plan. Like, what are you going to do for yourself daily? Are you going to start doing activities that you stopped doing? Are you going to like start making more friends? Like, what are you going to do, not only to make up that time that you used to spend on social media, but what are you going to do to actually heal? And so, I always have had a meditation practice in the morning, and my morning routine. And so that never changed, even when I was on social media. But what I started to do throughout my day is I started to really incorporate, first of all, a longer morning routine in the morning, but I also started to incorporate a second kind of routine, either a night routine or just like an afternoon routine that I pretty much did, you know, almost every single day. I really committed to having a few minutes to journal later in the day, to meditate later in the day, whatever I really needed to do to, you know, continue that. So every 12 hours, I had a practice that I was coming back to rather than going 24 hours, because I needed that time to cleanse and clear, because it was really, really intense for me. I started going to a therapist, which like I obviously recommend. A life coach and a therapist are a little bit different, but I think it's super important for every single person in the world to either be seeing a life coach or be seeing a therapist or seeing some other person who can listen to you like express what's going on in your brain. So I started seeing a therapist that was super, super helpful for me. I started reading a few books that were specifically about childhood things that I dealt with that I really needed to heal and understand more about, because I just was confused and I didn't understand what was going on. So I needed to learn like the psychology behind what kind of was going on. I started talking to a mentor. I started watching videos specifically on it. I started doing meditation specifically on what I needed to heal, which was, I mean, that's where the actual shift changed. Everything obviously helped, but committing to a meditation practice, a healing practice for myself, was where I could really clear my energy. I started doing Reiki on myself. I started getting Reiki done like before all of this. And then I started doing it on myself throughout this 2 months, which was like extremely powerful for me. So I started doing all these things. I also started eating better. Like for a little while, I was not eating like I used to eat. I was just not feeding my body as much, and I wasn't feeding my body what it really needed. I wasn't intuitively eating, which is what I do. I just like listen to what I know my body needs, and then I go eat that thing at that time. And I wasn't doing that. I was like eating out of discomfort, right? Which is like the foods that my body wants but doesn't actually need. So once I started doing all of these things consistently, once I put social media away, I fell out of that habit of going on social media to avoid my problems, and I committed myself to looking at all of the painful things that I needed to look at. And so, yes, it was so hard. It's definitely the most intense work that I've done in my entire life, but it was an extreme spiritual awakening. It was an extreme release, and it was an extreme connection to the energy that I'm really meant to be living in right now in my life. So my message for you is to really get to know why you go on social media, and just in general, why you do everything that you do. You can ask yourself that, why do I go on social media? And there may be a few reasons, right? Like I said, for me, like I go on because my business. I go on because I want to connect with people around the world that don't live in my neighborhood, right? And I also want to be inspired and stuff like that. So I go on social media for a lot of reasons. Underneath the like physical, what am I doing on there? Like, am I scrolling? Am I connecting? And what am I doing, right? Underneath that is an emotional thing of why you're doing it. It's because you're getting something out of it, and that something could be really, really healthy, right? You could get genuine connection out of being on social media. That's awesome. But it could also be a thing that you do to avoid. And there could be many, many other things that I didn't even mention in this video that you could be doing to get out of social media. But I think a really big thing that people do is they use it to avoid their situation, whether it's an internal thing that's going on or an external situation. It's, you know, for me, I was done. I was ready. I was like, I feel so uncomfortable. I don't feel good about myself. And I really need to do something about this energy. And I knew that this habit was propelling the energy, right? The habit of going on social media and not feeling good about myself, and then like not doing anything with my day. Then I felt bad about myself. Then I would go on social media. Then I wouldn't feel like, you see how the cycle works. And I'm sure that to some degree you probably experience it as well if you're watching this video, right? So really check in with yourself on why you use social media. And if you use it for only good reasons, great, keep doing it. And if you notice there's like a few reasons why you use social media that really aren't benefiting you for where you want to get in your life, and maybe you do something that is not healthy, like maybe you're avoiding something, it's okay. I know exactly how you feel. I was there. And it's building the habit. And so it's getting clear on if you need to take a complete break off social media, or do you need to just take 1 or 2 days, or do you need to just limit your time on social media? And that is completely up to you and your intuition to decide, right? It's really all about filling up your cup first and understanding that before you get on social media, you have to feel good about yourself. I was getting on social media because I didn't feel good about myself, and I was using social media to help me fill my cup up, right? that is not how internal satisfaction works. That's not how happiness really happens. It's all about, that's not how self-love happens, right? It's all about feeling good before you go out into the world, and doing that through a morning routine is how I do it, doing it through a meditation practice, doing it through all of the things I listed to you guys. That's how I fill my cup up. And then I can come on here and I can support you guys, and I can show up in a high vibration in order to do the work that's really meant for me to be doing. The last thing I want to share with you guys is, if you feel like you don't want to cut social media out completely, but you want to kind of switch your dynamic with it, start to think of social media as a place to create rather than a place to consume. You know, before I got off social media, I was consuming so much information. Like literally, so my brain was like consuming this, consuming that, and I would get off social media and I would be like thinking about other people's lives who I don't even know, and I'm like, why am I thinking about so-and-so's like trip that they went on, and da-da-da, and this and that? Like, I don't even know who that person is. I need to focus on myself. Like, why am I focusing on this random person? And that's because I was in a consumer mindset. I was in a mindset that I would go on social media to get something. I just said it too. I said I would go on social media to fill my cup up. That's a consumer mindset, right? So it might be helpful for you to actually change your perspective and create, right? Go on social media because you have something to spread, you have something to share, you have a connection to make with somebody. That's a creation mindset. And when you change your mindset from a consumption mindset to a creation mindset, like, it really, really helps you, because before you create, you have to be full, right? Before I get on social media, I had to do my meditation practice today. I had to read my book if I needed to read my book. I needed to journal if I needed to journal. I had to do that before I could be in the vibration to create content for you guys. So it's really been helpful for me to change my perspective from consuming on social media dominantly to creating on social media dominantly. That doesn't mean I'm not going to go on social media and like look at the people who inspire me and connect with my friends. I just changed my intention to be dominantly creating, because I know that's what my purpose is on social media. You may have a different purpose, and if you do, that's fine, but get clear on what your purpose is. And no matter what your purpose is, you always need to fill your cup up first before you get on social media. If you're interested in diving deeper and working on these things that I just talked about, that I went through, childhood stuff, old stuff, like uncovering your wounds and really understanding like, why are you avoiding these things, and starting to move through them. It's so important that you have somebody facilitate the space for you, a life coach or a therapist. And if you are interested, visit the link in the description below. I would absolutely be thrilled to have a one-on-one coaching session with you to help you understand what's really going on and begin to take steps to heal and move forward and really step into the next version of your being. I love you guys so much, and I really hope that this video cleared up why I took a break from social media and helped you understand what you can do if you need a break from social media. Of course, social media is such an amazing tool, but we have to understand why we use it, and we have to get clear and create those boundaries and do the internal work and fill up our cup before we get on it. I love you guys so much. Subscribe, comment, share, and I will see you soon. Mwah.